Just wait, Kenny, you ready?
Okay.
We're just waiting for the other camera to come on, so we won't be in it.
Which camera should we be looking at?
Just look straight ahead, Tom, when we start. That's fine.
Yeah, we'll try to environment work just
Always look forward.
There's no reward.
Yeah. You did clappable.
Okay, we'll get started, everyone, and welcome. And I'd particularly like to welcome those people who are watching from home today, who aren't able to be here in the chamber with our new world of social distancing. At the outset, I'd like to acknowledge that we're meeting on the traditional land of the Kabi Kabi or Gabi Gabi peoples, and I'd like to pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging. As you know, we're here today for the swearing-in ceremony, councillors, not the swearing-at ceremony, it's the swearing-in ceremony. And it's an opportunity for you to become a councillor after the very long journey you've been on through the election recently. Elections are an interesting thing. I always have to pay tribute to people who put their hand up for election, whether you're successful or otherwise. It's a very difficult thing to put yourself out for public comment and to have to work through that process. And as I mentioned to the councillors in the last couple of days, that's a real roller coaster, that process to go through the election. And it's like a race, but really it's a race to the start line, because that's what today is, the start line for the next 4 years. And that's what we have to look forward to. The role of a councillor is very much around being here for the community. And as I said in some of the previous conversations I've had with the councillors before we had this meeting, being a councillor is one of the great jobs you can have, because it's the opportunity to make a difference to the community you live in. And that's a really powerful thing, and a really powerful place to be. You're going to learn a lot. Make sure you enjoy the journey. There are going to be ups, there's going to be downs, you're going to enjoy some parts. You'll become experts of things you didn't know you're going to become experts of. It's more than roads, rates and rubbish. You're going to learn a lot of things about a lot of interesting aspects that the council has to deal with. But of course it's also very apparent that you're commencing your term at an incredible time in history. It's an unusual time, and it's a time for you to shine, because as leaders in the community, we're going to have a really unique opportunity to look at how we can help our community respond to the COVID-19 crisis, how we can come out the other side, and how we're going to thrive into the future. It's a really powerful time to be. So what I'd like to do now is to commence the declaration process. So what I'll be doing is asking each of the councillors to come forward one at a time, starting with Claire Stewart. I'll ask you to come forward. Claire, if you'd like to pop over here. So what I'll be doing with each of the councillors elect is to read through the declaration of the office, and they'll repeat after me. And then at the end of that, we have the signing ceremony. That's when you become a councillor for the first time. So the declaration goes as follows. If you can repeat after me. I, Claire Stewart.
I, Claire Stewart.
Having been elected as a councillor of Noosa Council.
Having been elected as a councillor of Noosa Council.
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office
in accordance with the local government principles and code of conduct under the Local Government Act 2009,
in accordance with the Local Government Principles and Code of Conduct under the Local Government Act 2009,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations, you're now the Mayor of Noosa Shire.
Thank you very much. Thank
If you can
Can't shake your
sign. No, we can't shake.
you.
Get to sign.
Thank you.
And sign your copy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well,
Thanks.
congratulations, and
Thank
Mayor,
you
I'd
very
invite
much.
you to say a few words.
Thank
if you
you.
could.
Thank you. Good morning. It is an immense personal and family honour to be here, the greatest of privileges to serve the community of Noosa Shire. A first opportunity to congratulate returning and new councillors, and an occasion to acknowledge and share our respective and complementary responsibilities with Noosa Shire Council leaders and personnel, and particularly our CEO, Brett de Chastel. Importantly and firstly, I acknowledge our elders and leaders, past and present, and extend our appreciation to all who have served the Shire. This is an occasion to pay tribute to the outgoing Mayor of Noosa Shire, Mr. Tony Wellington, and to outgoing councillors for their service and their commitment. The community of Noosa Shire, its richly blessed environment, the businesses and services it provides, has an enviable reputation across Queensland and our nation. This is something that has been nurtured and protected by many. It is a platform we hold precious and a commission to preserve and develop with the people of the community in harmony with wider jurisdictions. Each of our experiences and presence is privileged by others. My situation is no different. As I commence my service, I thank my husband, my children, my parents, my family for love and support that allows me my active participation, my friends and my campaign team who demonstrated incredible generosity, perseverance and unshakable confidence and trust. All have sustained and guided me every step. More to the point, their collective values, love and commitment to the community of the Shire is what stands out, and it is to this end that we all find a place and connection today. I am also particularly grateful to all in our community who supported me in the mayoral process, and for those who did not, I need to emphasise that as Mayor and councillors, our focus is to engage all and serve all in our endeavour to be a flourishing, whole and integrated community. This is an absolute priority, to be present, transparent and accountable to all. The most frequently asked question of me over recent days is one of, what now? The time post-election has been short. The extensive scrutineering and recounting of votes has left only limited time to reflect in a context of COVID-19, which leaves all within the community uncertain and challenged. We, like so many other elected representatives, are called to step up and step out, and as we do, all that we can with the people and the authority we possess. To answer the question, what now, is to first say, we address the crisis in dialogue, connection, compassion, truth, service, with and for others. COVID-19 is a priority, but so too are the responsibilities we have towards the Shire more generally. My commitment will continue to be underpinned by transparency and accountability, being present to the needs and priorities of our residents with the focus always on community benefit, working in collaboration with my fellow councillors and our CEO. I'm deeply conscious that the electorate was finally balanced in the election of its mayors and councillors. We gather today aware that our efforts are for all the community, and our capacity to serve will be measured by the level of our collaboration with one another as we initiate, debate and share wisdom. The process before me, and I believe we, is one of being focused outwards, valuing our connections and empowering our people and resources from a shared vision grounded in community. Business leaders, elected officials and scholars of organisational life tell us that the first few weeks or 100 days, or whatever short time frame we offer, are crucial in establishing touchstones for operations and strategy. Our experiences will be no different. As we begin today, I commit to investing time and attention to listening, being present, serving, and supporting something much bigger than each of us individually. As Henry Ford once said, coming together is the beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. This is the yardstick for our service. In this context, my hope and prayer is that we look outwards in a spirit of understanding and connection, look inwards in a spirit of support, and we look to ourselves in a spirit of cohesion. Thank you.
I think it's always a thrill to hear that term for the first time, Mayor Stewart.
Thank you.
Well done. We'll now be swearing in the 6 councillors. So we're going to do this in alphabetical order, and with the luck of the draw with the alphabet, I'll invite Karen Finzel to come up and take the oath. No problems. So Karen, if you can repeat after me. I, Karen Finzel,
I, Karen Finzel,
having been elected as a councillor of Noosa Council,
having been elected as a councillor of Noosa Council,
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office
in accordance with the local government principles and code of conduct under the Local Government Act 2009,
in accordance with the local government principles and code of conduct under the Local Government Act 2009,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations, Councillor Finzel.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you,
Would you
everyone.
like to sign your part? And swap out. I invite Councillor Finzel to say a few words.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to be here today and accept this great honour. Thank you so much. I am delighted. It is an honour and a privilege to have been elected to the position of councillor in the 2020 election. It is tremendous to represent the entire Shire and be a voice for the hinterland. At a personal level, it's even more exciting. The links to my family and the town of Pomona go back to the 1940s when my father-in-law John Finzel attended the Ringtail School along with his siblings. Then in 1951 to 1960, my great uncle Philip Gimple was second in charge at the Pomona Police Station where he resided with his wife and his daughters. In 1986, my husband Craig and I moved to Pomona to raise our family. We became actively involved, along with others, to see the construction of playgrounds, skate parks and transport services. I'd like to take this opportunity today, as Brett said, to join with everyone at the start of the race. And boy, what a race it's going to be. I'd like to thank all my family, friends, colleagues and community, and all those who contributed so generously and tirelessly to make this campaign a success. Like never before, we require relevant, authentic, and forward-thinking leaders with empathy to face the complexities of governance during these unprecedented times of COVID-19. Together, we must persevere while acknowledging the importance of imagination as we strive towards innovative and cost-effective outcomes in these times of uncertainty. Now is the time to connect with others, thereby achieving our greatest good and see our own worth reflected in the product of our collaborative process. It is time to create a vision to inspire, to motivate for change, strengthen our collective identity, and activate clear goals towards a sustainable future, socially, economically, and environmentally. In short, empower others while committing to compassionate yet decisive actions. The immediate and long-term well-being of this community now and into the future is about vital attributes, characteristics and qualities that contribute to good leadership. Preparedness and critical thinking are paramount. I'm committed to doing my research to remain informed when it comes to making decisions about the long-term sustainability of the Noosa Shire. Building and valuing strong relationships with each other and sound policy will serve the community well. As an approachable team player with proven advocacy experience, I will work constructively with others to bring issues to the table, vote as an individual, and respect the decision of the majority. My commitment is to bring diligence and transparency to all processes, especially the Council's financial decisions. And together we strengthen communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Finzel.
Thank you.
Next for the councillors to come up and take their declaration is Joe Jurisovic. Thank you. So if you could repeat after me. I, Joe Jurisovic,
I, Joe Jurisovic,
having been elected as a councillor of Noosa Council,
having been elected as a councillor of Noosa Council,
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office
in accordance with the Local Government Principles and Code of Conduct under the Local Government Act 2009,
in accordance with the Local Government Principles and Code of Conduct under the Local Government Act 2009,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations, Councillor Jurisovic.
Thank you, Mr. CEO.
I invite Councillor to say a few words.
Thank you. Short and sweet. One, I'd like to say what an honour and a privilege it is to be re-elected as a representative of our community on the Noosa Council. I'd like to pay my respects to the outgoing Mayor, Tony Wellington, and Councillors Ingrid Jackson and Jess Glasgow for their honoured work for the community over the last 4 years. I'd like to acknowledge our incoming Mayor, Claire Stewart, and the new councillors, as well as those returning councillors. Looking forward to working with you in the challenging times ahead over the next 4 years, as well as the CEO and the staff that I have great respect and admiration for, and to continue the work that we've achieved over the last 6 years since de-amalgamation, and into the troubled times ahead that our community and all the communities across the world face going forward. Again, an honour and a privilege, and I'd like to thank everybody that supported me through the campaign, and especially like to acknowledge my wife and my son for their unwavering support through these through an election campaign that has always been challenging. But again, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Councillor Jurisovic. Next to take the oath is Amelia Lawrenson. Taking the declaration, repeat after me. I, Amelia Lawrenson,
I, Amelia Lawrenson,
having been elected as a councillor of Noosa Council,
having been elected as a councillor of Noosa Council,
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office,
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office
in accordance with the Local Government Principles and Code of Conduct under the Local Government Act 2009,
in accordance with the Local Government Principles and obligations of the Local Government Act 2009,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And swap over.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Councillor Lawrenson.
Thank you. I started this journey 6 months ago because I believe that some of the decisions that were being made in council didn't represent a large portion of the community. I decided then that these residents needed a seat and a voice at this table. A voice that expressed their views and their interest, a voice that could influence policy and decision making, a voice that could demand better accountability and transparency, and a voice that honoured equity and fairness. I worked hard for that seat, and in return, the community rewarded me with their voice. This is a privilege that I do not take for granted. I look forward to working with our new Mayor, Claire Stewart, and the council that the community elected. And mostly, I look forward to working hard and listening to the people and the communities of the Noosa Shire, especially during these times of accelerating uncertainty. The COVID-19 pandemic poses an unprecedented challenge for council and our community. As a council, we need to prepare not only for the immediate challenges of this crisis, but prepare for decisive action when all this is over. We will recover and we will transition back from the damage done, and we will make Noosa better. And I will raise my voice and I will speak loud and clear and use my seat at this table to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Declaration.
Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Lawrenson. Next to take the declaration is Brian Stockwell.
Thank you, Brett.
You take the declaration as follows. I, Brian Stockwell,
I, Brian Stockwell,
having been elected as a councillor of Noosa Council,
having been elected as a councillor of Noosa Council,
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office
in accordance with the Local Government Principles and Code of Conduct under the Local Government Act 2009,
in accordance with the Local Government Principles and Code of Conduct under the Local Government Act 2009,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations. Now invite Councillor Stockwell to say a few words.
It's always humbling to be here, having the faith of the community to once again elect me as a councillor. It is time to say thank you for all those people who contributed to the campaign, whether it was my son making the A-frames in the backyard or my daughter who was forced to remotely help me do the design work from Brisbane. She spent a lot more time on the phone with a grumpy old dad than normal. But also to all those other people in the community who wore out their shoe leather, who provide sage advice. I hope I can repay that trust you've put in me. As the CEO mentioned, we start this term in historic times of change. Charles Darwin once said, "It's not the strongest species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but it's the ones that are most responsive to change." And that's our challenge as a council. Can we respond in a reasonable way, in a fair time frame, to come out the other side as early as possible? So the CEOs adopted the three terms to survive, to revive and to thrive. And I think they're the priorities for all our councillors. It'd be risky, I think, in these times to just wait for things to get back to normal, because there's a real doubt about what the new normal will be. But this council's in good shape. We've got three things in our favour. We have our fantastic natural assets that have underpinned this economy for decades. We have people in this community with great connectivity to each other, to the business community, and we have a lot of know-how that we can call on. And from a council perspective, we have a very healthy capital, our budget, we have a healthy capital reserve that we can call on to try and drive, together with those stimulus packages that are likely or almost certainly going to come out of state and federal governments, to drive local employment initiatives to try and pump as much public money into this economy as possible. Our challenge, I think, in this term is to take the competitive advantage we've always had and to focus it on a future that is uncertain, but one that we're well placed to take best advantage of.
Thank you, Councillor Stockwell. Next up to take the declaration of office, I invite Tom Wegener. Tom, if you could repeat after me the declaration of the office. I, Tom Wegener,
I, Tom Wegener,
having been elected as a councillor of Noosa Council,
having been elected as a councillor of Noosa Council,
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office
in accordance with the local government principles and code of conduct under the Local Government Act 2009,
in accordance with the Local Government Act and principles and code of conduct under the Local Government Act of 2009,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations. I'll just get you to sign. Thank you, and invite Councillor Wegener to say a few words.
Well, thank you very much for supporting me and giving me the opportunity to serve the Noosa Council, the Noosa Shire. And I'd like to especially thank my team that were so amazing in helping me get to this position. And of course, especially my wife, who is very supportive, the brain trust, the most amazing person I've ever met. So thank you, Margie, for helping me get here on this grand endeavor. Now with the council, we face challenging times, and we kind of are, I think we're going to be pulling back what we're going to be doing to the basics of, we want to maintain the high standard of living that we share here, just as really living in Noosa, while at the same time trying to keep the rates low, because we're going to have to find that balance, because the next few years, or already, the tap is turning off as far as the business community, money coming in the doors, which traditionally come like through tourism and other things. And of course, the next round of rates may be affected by this as well. And some of this may lead to despair amongst the people, especially the young business people, especially the people that are within business that are suffering right now. And I went through a very similar thing with the financial crisis in 2009, where all of a sudden I was basically an exporter, and my export market shut off, and I had to completely rephase myself. But when you're down, sometimes you can reflect on the incredible values that we have here, because there's so much value in Noosa. It's unbelievable, and money value is just one small way of measuring all this value that we have. Of course, we have this beautiful environment. We have our incredible volunteers that are a constant, that create an enormous amount of value for the Noosa Shire, the support of a community, and as Brian said, our upbeat entrepreneurial spirit. Just another silly example, what I did a few weeks ago is I put together a little package for my friends to run with, because I'm here now, but with my business, I started making a little DIY, do-it-yourself belly board kit. And those are selling like crazy over the internet. So people that are at home can get their package in the mail, they could put their art on it and varnish it, and it's a fantastic thing. So we're especially well suited here in Noosa because we have a lot of opportunities with manufacturing, with agriculture, with so many different aspects of this Noosa. We're very, very fortunate to live here, and we've got a lot of ability to grow our way out of, make our way out of the financial crisis that's probably going to come in the COVID-19. We're going to be getting money from the federal and state governments, but I always worry about idle hands getting money. I hope to work with the council and with the Shire and with everybody out there to put this time to great use, because it's actually an opportunity to run with things, to find yourself, to find meaning, to build your character. I remember when I was young, I would talk to people that actually lived through the Great Depression, and they talked about it with glowing times. I was speaking with these old people that were musicians, and they said, well, we were in the city, the money stopped, they went off into the fields and they would play music for food, and they just said that was the best time of their life. It actually reformed who they were. So I'm hoping that we can generate that sort of spirit here, or maintain that spirit here in Noosa Council. And for all you people out there that could be suffering, I'm talking to a lot of the younger people that are feeling a bit of despair, that probably aren't watching this right now, but but I'm here for you, especially. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wegener. And last but certainly not least, alphabetically, invite Frank Wilkie up.
Thank you. I'm alphabetically challenged as always.
Invite to take the declaration of office. If you can repeat after me. I, Frank Wilkie,
I, Frank Wilkie,
having been elected as a councillor of Noosa Council,
having been elected as a councillor of Noosa Council,
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office
in accordance with the local government principles and code of conduct under the Local Government Act 2009,
in accordance with the Local Government Principles and Code of Conduct under the Local Government Act 2009,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations, Councillor Wilkie.
Thank you, Mr. Brett. Thank you. Left-handers always look awkward when they're...
That's
Oh,
yours.
that's mine. Thank you.
I invite Councillor Wilkie to say a few words.
Thank you, Brett. I too like to thank the Noosa community for the faith and trust they have again placed in me. It's a privilege and a responsibility I've never and would never take lightly, especially now in the circumstances facing this community. I also congratulate Mayor Clare on this historic occasion, and councillors Karen, Amelia, Tom, Joe and Brian on their emergence from among a Melbourne Cup-sized field of candidates. Yeah, we met yesterday around the table collectively for the first time, and judging by the respect and the quality of the questions, it really augurs well for this term. It's an honour to serve on any Noosa council, and especially one led by Noosa's first female mayor. The Noosa community has always chosen and been blessed to have great leadership in recent years, with Bob Abbott, Noel Playford and Tony Wellington, each with their own individual outstanding strengths that have proven timely for this community. So if precedent is any guide, then we have every reason to have similar confidence in Clare, and I do. My pre-election pledge was to respect and work cooperatively with the community's choice of candidates. Today I again publicly commit to working with each and every one of you and Noosa Council's professional staff and CEO to serve and support this community and see it safely through to the other side of these extraordinary times and beyond. I'd also like to give a special thanks to my wife and daughter Palmyra and Ziggy. I love you both very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wilkie. Well, that concludes the formal ceremony today. Just in closing, I want to congratulate Mayor Stewart and all of the councillors on your taking the declaration of office. It's a great step on your journey. Make sure you do enjoy the journey. It's an important role. The community has chosen you to be their leaders, and this is the opportunity to shine over the next 4 years. The special circumstances we have, I'm sure you'll be up to it. So thanks very much for coming along today. Thank you to everyone who's been watching at home. And with that, we'll conclude the ceremony. Thank you.